Morphogenics podcast is it's a podcast that interviews or talks with and has discussions with people in the agribusiness as well as the food industries. So our aim is to have discussions and interviews with people doing interesting things in those industries. So I'm very happy to have you as a guest today on the podcast.
But there is an area that this industry needs to be concerned about. I went to a food expo quite recently in California.
Yeah.
And I took a gentleman to one side, same sort of age as me, and we looked across the halls, and I said, "What did you notice?" And he said, "Well, I'm not sure what you're looking at." I said, "It's full of a bunch of people our age or older. How many young people do you see in this hall?" Yes, there were a few, but the percentage was very wrong. So there were people working in the industry of 60, 65, 70, even 75 years old, right? And that probably represented, I'm going to say 80% of the people in the hall. The big companies, Unilever, Nestle, Kellogg's, Mondelez, these global companies, they better wake up to the fact that they need to encourage people to go to food technology schools, food science schools, microbiology schools, rather than do something else. Because otherwise their R&D teams will be, one, very old, and two, very short of young blood. There is definitely an area of the business that the global food companies need to pay attention to. And they had better encourage people to join in the same sort of career that I've had.
Okay, Colin, what do you believe the implications would be if the food companies do not address that issue of old or senior people within the industry?
I think that's a clever question, a very good question. I think the immediate implications, and I'm seeing this today, is that there are R&D companies which have been started by culinary chefs, right? There are a bunch of them. There's Matson, there's Chu, and there's others, right? Who else am I thinking of? Doesn't matter, but those are good examples that I just mentioned. Culinex is the other example that I'm struggling to remember. They are culinary consultants. I think that business will grow. So big companies, global companies, will have to give the R&D to those privately held culinary specialty companies to be the think tank for the next generation. And what I mean, the next generation products is what I mean, not people. You know, what's the next can of baked beans? What's the next sliced bread? What is it? And we all know that plant protein is going crazy at this moment in time, but that's a great example. So a lot of those companies that I referred to, they've been working on these things as external think tanks, as external R&D, and I think that might be an industry that will grow. And that's because they will encourage the best of the best out of the culinary schools. And the Unilevers and the Nestles and the Mondelezes of this world will be wondering why they don't have any applicants for their open positions.
Absolutely. Okay. All right.
Perfect. All right. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much.
Likewise, Colin. Likewise. Have a great day further. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this information useful, please click the like button and please subscribe to receive new information from the food and agribusiness industry. Thank you. Goodbye.